The Sundance Kid in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid star Robert Redford has always kept his private life under wraps. But even at the age of 88, he has decided to talk about the one he loves. How did his relationship with his soulmate influence his path in life? Let's go into the heartfelt confession of Robert Redford. Robert Redford has had a profound effect on the film industry over his 6-decade career, which he has spearheaded in many capacities such as actor, director, producer, and founder of the Sundance Film Festival. In addition to his professional accomplishments, Redford attributes much of his identity to the profound connections he has had and the life events he has endured. Robert Redford was a native Angelino before he got famous. His defiant nature as a teenager led him into numerous mischief-making situations. He was notorious for his wild antics as a member of a high school gang, which included sneaking booze into all-night parties without permission. During that time, Redford was uncertain of what his future held and he felt restless and aimless. Redford had a solid support system despite his disruptive behavior. Martha Hart with her son. Her son had promise, and she noticed it, as well as urged him to make positive changes in his life. Her affection and encouragement were crucial in molding Redford's path, as he has frequently mentioned. She had faith in him, and that faith prompted him to take a risk that would pay off in the form of his iconic career in Hollywood. Well, would you believe it? Not everything in Redford's life changed at once. Among his many hardships was the untimely death of his mother at the tender age of 18. Martha Hart, his mother, died when he was 40 years old. A hemorrhage brought on by a blood disease was the cause of her death in 1955. 10 years after the birth of Redford, she suffered the terrible loss of twin daughters at delivery, which led to the development of this illness. Redford has frequently discussed the profound impact this tragedy had on him. His mother had been there for him through thick and thin, believing in him and his abilities even when he didn't. She was essential in his decision to leave behind his defiant adolescence and pursue a more positive trajectory in life. It was devastating for him to lose her at such a young age, and he struggled with feelings of unfairness in life. Redford has said that his mother's extraordinary, risky resolve to start a family was on full display. She was urged by physicians not to have any more children after a tough pregnancy and delivery with Redford. Someone cautioned her that getting pregnant again could put her life in jeopardy. But Hart hoped to one day have a big, happy family. She became pregnant again despite the risks since she was willing to take a chance. Her tragic demise was hastened in part by this choice, which exacerbated her pre-existing conditions. The loss of his mother hit Redford quite hard. She was brave and had sacrificed so much for her family, and he appreciated both. He felt a profound loss at her passing, but it also made him think about how strong and resilient she had been. As a result, Martha Hart never got to meet her son. Robert rose to prominence as an actor, filmmaker, and philanthropist, solidifying his place in Hollywood lore. Still, Redford thinks she had an impact on him and that her principles helped shape who he is now, giving him the strength to keep going when she passed away. Even though Robert Redford is known for his work in Hollywood, his private life has always piqued the interest of his followers. He has achieved great fame and prosperity, but one question still lingers. Who was his one true love? To get to the bottom of this, we need to look at the important relationships that impacted Redford's path, especially in the dark moments after Martha Hart's death. Redford was troubled with grief and doubt following his mother's untimely death at the age of 18. Lola Van Wagenen, a young Mormon lady who would later become his first love, brought him solace and hope during this time of mourning. They had an instant and profound bond when they met as students at the University of Colorado. At a time when Redford needed stability and kindness the most, Lola brought these into his life. In 1958, at the tender age of 22, Redford was joined in matrimony by his spouse. When asked about his early marriage, Redford said there were many valid reasons for it, but he also said he thought it would save his life at the moment. Following the tragedy of his mother's death, Redford found solace in Lola, who offered him a path away from the anguish and disorder and toward a life filled with love and meaning again. When asked about Lola and her impact on his life, Redford has always responded with admiration and appreciation. Beyond being his first love, she provided him with stability and strength at a critical juncture in his life. There is no denying the significant impact Lola Van Wagenen had on Robert Redford's life. Their relationship shaped him into the man he would become since she supported him while he was still discovering who he was. Redford became one of Hollywood's top stars during their marriage, which caused his career to rise. The family that Redford and Lola built together, a union of 4 children, became the most important thing to them. Scott Anthony, their first child, was born in 1959, but tragedy struck 2 months later when he died of sudden infant death syndrome. The young couple's loss was traumatic, but they grew closer as they relied on one another for strength. They had a daughter, Shauna Jean, in 1960, adding fresh happiness to their life. Shauna followed in her father's footsteps and became a gifted artist as she grew older. Amy Hart, their youngest daughter, was born in 1970, 10 years later. Amy also went down the creative road, discovering that acting and directing were her true calling. James, the couple's second son, was born in 1962, sandwiched between their 2 daughters. James, or Jamie as he was lovably known, continued his father's legacy of cinematic storytelling. He devoted his life to fighting for environmental and health-related problems, which led him to become an activist and filmmaker. When James Redford, age 58, died away in October 2020, it was yet another terrible loss for the Redford family. He died of liver cancer after a long struggle with liver disease. He and his father had a strong relationship since his dedication to activism and cinematography reflected his father's beliefs. Lola Van Wagenen and Robert Redford had a committed and loving relationship, but they also had their share of problems. Their marriage got increasingly strained over the years, especially as Redford's acting career took off and he became a famous actor. It became more and more challenging for the pair to remain committed as he juggled the responsibilities of his expanding job with those of his family, all while under mounting public scrutiny. They drifted apart as a result of these difficulties and their divergent career and personal goals, and they divorced in 1985. They decided to part ways after 27 happy years of marriage. Redford discussed their divorce in an interview she gave to The Telegraph in 2001, calling it a mutually necessary decision. He admitted that their relationship had suffered greatly due to the demands of his rising Hollywood stardom. Defying the notion of Hollywood marriages that don't last long was Redford's goal, he confessed. The idea of becoming yet another predictable divorce statistic in the film industry was never something Redford wanted, he said. He tried to show that a marriage could endure the stresses of stardom, but in the end, he failed. Despite the dissolution of their marriage, Redford and Lola were amicable throughout their separation. Despite the divorce, Redford has been very forthcoming about his connection with her, praising the love and respect that remained between them. They were both determined that their 4 children, Shannon, Amy, James, and Scott's memory, would be unharmed by the divorce. After the divorce, they were able to keep their relationship amicable and helpful because of their shared commitment to family. For their children's sake, Redford admitted that they had successfully navigated the shift. Since their children handled the crisis effectively, Redford thought they deserved credit for managing it well. He also noted that their connection was wonderful. Robert Redford remarried Sybil Sagers, an accomplished artist and painter who had a profound love for the natural world, following his divorce from Lola Van Wagenen. Their connection started in a lovely and unexpected way, demonstrating Redford's talent for connecting with individuals outside of his renown. In 1996, at his Utah Sundance Mountain Resort, Redford initially met Sybil Sagers. Unknowingly encountered a legendary actor from Hollywood. Her familiarity with Redford and his films was limited when she was younger. During a panel discussion at the Young Arts Salon in 2014, Sagers reflected on the awkwardness she felt when Redford invited her and her friends out to dinner. Before the dinner, Sagers rented a few of Redford's films out of concern that he may bring up his career while they were talking. In an effort to be prepared to talk about it if the subject came up, she confessed to watching only 15 minutes of each video over the course of 2 nights. Surprisingly, and much to her relief, Redford kept mum about his acting career. Robert Redford has made no secret of the fact that his connection with Sybil Sagers was unconventional from the start. Their unique bond was enhanced by Sagers' ignorance of his notoriety and professional background. Sagers treated Redford with the same level of respect and humanity as any other person, unlike many who might be awestruck by his legendary position. This sincere bond was really attractive to Redford. Wonderful, according to Redford, was the beginning of his relationship with Sybil Sagers, which began with 2 people meeting and connecting as humans, unencumbered by fame or achievement. This was a breath of fresh air for Redford. They were able to develop a strong bond apart from the pressures of celebrity and public scrutiny. Redford and Sagers tied the knot after dating for over 10 years. In July 2009, they were married in a modest, intimate ceremony in Sagers' birthplace of Hamburg, Germany, at the posh Louis C. Jacob Hotel. They wanted to keep their private lives out of the limelight, and the small gathering was a reflection of that. Centered on their affection and the path they had taken together. Robert Redford's life is greatly enhanced by Sybil Sagers, who offers a fresh viewpoint that harmonizes with his personal interests and aspirations. For Redford, Sagers' profound admiration for art and culture is a defining characteristic. Redford, who has a lifelong affinity for the arts, finds common ground with her appreciation and comprehension of the creative process. When it comes to the value of art, the two couldn't be more alike. It fosters a deeper bond between them and enables them to provide mutual support in their own professional and personal pursuits. Over the course of his 40-year career, Sagers has achieved great success as a visual artist. She uses oil painting, photography, and performance art as outlets for her deep love of nature and the environment. Her profound affinity for nature and her dedication to environmental causes are frequently on display in her artwork. Sagers has been able to convey a message regarding the significance of environmental preservation through her artwork. Numerous illustrious venues in the US, Monaco, Europe, Peru, Singapore, and Japan have featured her work in exhibitions. Not only is she talented, but her commitment to her profession is evident in the international accolades she has received. She has become a prominent personality in the art world due to her talent for combining environmental consciousness with art. There is more to Sybil Sagers than meets the eye. Robert Redford also finds support in her. She hopes he'll follow his dreams and become an actor, filmmaker, and environmental activist, all of which are his creative loves. Someone who knows the challenges of creativity and the value of remaining faithful to one's artistic vision is vital, and Redford has mentioned Sagers as someone who fills this need in his life. She provides him with the necessary support to pursue his artistic endeavors while also ensuring a well-rounded and satisfying personal life. Robert Redford always wanted to be an artist, even before he became a famous actor and director. Indeed, he devoted more time to drawing and painting than acting in his younger years. Even before he became famous, he spent 18 months living it up in Paris as an artist. Even before he became famous, he was dedicated to his artistic vocation. He would frequently draw on sidewalks and make chalk paintings for tips. The journal Adarp claims that Redford's stay in Paris was formative, allowing him to hone his creative abilities and gain a deeper respect for originality. His passion for art was always strong, and it continues to play an important role in his life, even if he finally moved his concentration to acting. Redford and Sagers form a close relationship based on mutual admiration for one another's artistic endeavors because of their common appreciation of the arts. An important part of both Sybil Sagers and Robert Redford's life is their commitment to environmental protection, which they both feel passionately about. Activist Sybil Sagers' commitment to environmental causes shines through in her artwork. There is an immediate need to resolve environmental concerns, and her work often centers on this theme. Environmental issues and their potential future recur in many of her works, including paintings, photos, and live performances. The goal of Sagers' art is to raise awareness about environmental issues and encourage people to do something about it. Through a unique blend of creativity and activism, her work has raised awareness about environmental issues, allowing viewers to appreciate nature for what it is while also realizing how delicate it is. Beyond her painting, Sagers is deeply committed to environmental problems. The significance of protecting the environment for the sake of future generations is deeply ingrained in her views, and her dedication to eco-friendly lifestyle practices reflects this. Supporting environmentally friendly activities and encouraging people to examine their environmental impact are examples of Sagers' personal choices that coincide with her principles. From his early years onward, Robert Redford has had a deep affinity with the natural world. Redford revealed the origins of his passion for nature in an upcoming 2020 People story. The trip he went to Utah with his mom when he was a kid, he said, was the one that made him realize how precious and beautiful nature is. His dedication to environmental protection and his worldview were both influenced by his formative years spent outdoors. Because of his deep affinity for the natural world, he collaborates with scientists, environmentalists, and activists to bring attention to the devastation that humanity has wrought upon the planet and inspire others to do something about it. A common goal of Sagers and Redford's is to bring attention to the pressing environmental problems that our planet is currently experiencing. Their shared awareness of the critical need for human action to preserve the Earth is palpable. Their friendship has grown stronger as a result of their common dedication to environmental protection. Since they are both artists and activists who want to make a difference, it has also influenced a lot of what they do. Environmental protection is fundamental to Redford's life and work, and it goes beyond being a mere personal interest. As an actor, filmmaker, and founder of the non-profit organization the Redford Center, he has long utilized his platform to advocate for environmental problems. He and his son James co-founded this group, and its primary goals are to educate the public about the need of protecting the environment and to produce films and other projects to that end. Even though Sybil Zegers and Robert Redford never had any biological children, Zegers became a stepmother to the children of Redford's ex-wife Lola Van Wagenen. The children of Redford's stepmother, Zegers, got to know and love her. As a father herself, she helped Redford through the good times and the bad, and she forged bonds with his children through it all. Zegers was an important figure in their life because of the love, advice, and support she gave them.